2013, Los Angeles. Guests at the Cecil Hotel began to complain about their water. It tasted strange. The pressure was low. Sometimes, it even ran dark. Maintenance staff went to the roof, climbed to the massive water tanks, and opened one of the lids. Inside, floating face up in the dark water, was the body of 21-year-old Elisa Lam. Her death shocked the world, but it was the footage of her final moments, captured on an elevator camera, that made her story one of the most unsettling mysteries of the modern age. Like and subscribe, because I share chilling mysteries and eerie stories like this every single day. And tonight, we're diving deep into the strange and haunting case of Elisa Lam. The Cecil Hotel was built in 1924. At the time, Los Angeles was booming. The owners wanted elegance, luxury, a glamorous destination. But the city changed. The Great Depression hit. Skid Row grew around the hotel. By the 1930s, tragedy began to stain its reputation. Guests leaping to their deaths from windows, murders, overdoses. By the 1980s and 90s, it had become infamous. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived there during his killing spree. Another serial killer, Jack Unterweger, also stayed within its walls. The hotel became a symbol of darkness. Locals whispered that it was cursed, a magnet for despair and death. It would later be rebranded, renamed, but the shadow of its past never lifted. And it was into this place that Elisa Lam checked in. Elisa was 21 years old, born in Vancouver, Canada, the daughter of Hong Kong immigrants. She was bright, bookish. She loved fashion, literature, and sharing her thoughts online. On her Tumblr blog, she wrote openly about her life, her struggles with depression and bipolar disorder, her hopes, her fears. Her posts mixed humor with raw honesty. She wanted connection. She wanted to be understood. In January 2013, she set out on her first solo trip, California. She visited San Diego, posted about the zoo. She sounded excited, hopeful. Her journey would end in Los Angeles. At the Cecil Hotel, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles at the end of January. She checked into the Cecil on January 28th. At first, she shared a hostel-style room with other guests, but they complained about her odd behavior. We don't know the details, but the hotel moved her to a private room. She explored the city. She wrote posts about bookstores and art. She bought gifts for family. Everything seemed fine. But on January 31st, she failed to call her parents. Something she had done every single day of the trip. Her family knew something was wrong. When Elisa missed her call, her parents panicked. They contacted the Los Angeles police. The LAPD began a search. They interviewed hotel staff. They searched her room. Her belongings were still there. Her laptop, her clothes, her medications. But Elisa was gone. Police dogs searched the hotel, even the roof. But they found nothing. Flyers went up across the city. Her smiling face posted on walls. But no one had seen her. Days passed. Then weeks. The search seemed to go nowhere. Until the police released the elevator video, February 1st, 2013, the last known sighting of Elisa Lam. The video shows her entering the hotel elevator. At first, she presses several buttons, but the doors don't close. The elevator doesn't move. She peeks into the hallway, then jumps back inside, presses against the wall, hiding. She steps out again, back in, back out, as if playing a strange game or running from someone. Then, her movements shift. Her hands twist and wave, like she's speaking to something unseen. Her gestures are erratic, almost ritualistic. Finally, to some, Elisa was clearly hiding from someone. The elevator doors that stayed open seemed suspicious. Was someone outside the frame? Was she chased? To others, it looked paranormal. Her strange hand movements, her erratic behavior, the cursed reputation of the hotel. They believed it was possession or ghosts. But another explanation emerged. Elisa had bipolar disorder, and according to her autopsy, she had stopped taking some of her medications. Was she experiencing a psychotic episode? Hallucinations? Paranoia? The theory fit, but it still left questions. Even if she was hallucinating, the water tanks on the roof were not easy to reach. The rooftop doors were locked and alarmed. The tanks themselves stood high off the roof. Climbing them required a ladder. Their lids were heavy. Could Elisa, alone, have done this? Some said no, that someone must have placed her there, that it was murder. But the autopsy showed no signs of trauma, no drugs, no alcohol. The official cause, accidental drowning. But if it was an accident, how did she get inside? And why did it take so long to find her, when police had already searched the roof? The mystery only deepened. On February 19th, nearly 3 weeks after Elisa vanished, guests began to complain about the water. A maintenance worker named Santiago Lopez went to the roof. He climbed to the tanks. He opened the heavy lid. Inside, floating in the dark water, was Elisa Lam. For weeks, guests had been drinking, cooking, bathing in water from the very tank that hid her body. The horror of the discovery made headlines worldwide. But the details only raised more questions. The coroner's report ruled it an accidental drowning. No signs of assault, no drugs or alcohol. But there were problems. Her toxicology report showed inconsistent medication levels. She had been taking some prescriptions, but not others. Doctors said this could have triggered a psychotic break, but skeptics pointed out oddities. The video's missing timestamps, the elevator doors that stayed open far too long, the rooftop doors with alarms that never went off. The official report closed the case, but to the public, the mystery was only beginning. The elevator video became viral. It was shared on YouTube, Reddit, forums worldwide. Millions of people watched, analyzed, slowed down the footage. Was there someone's shoe visible in the frame? Was the video edited? Why did the timestamp jump? Theories spread faster than facts. Ghost stories, conspiracies, even claims Elisa had been part of secret government experiments. The case became one of the internet's most famous mysteries. But behind the viral legend was still a real young woman. So what really happened to Elisa Lam? One version says it was a tragic accident. A young woman struggling with her mental health, who suffered a psychotic episode and wandered somewhere she should not have been. The other version is the legend. The haunted hotel, the cursed water, the viral elevator video that looks more like possession than reality. The truth may never be known, but Elisa Lam's story endures because it feels like horror, hiding inside real life. Every time her name is spoken, every time her final video is replayed, the questions return. What really happened in that elevator?